Hi, friends. Stephanie Quick and Marco Moreno here, coming to you from Israel. It is Monday night, about 9:30 p.m. local time here in Israel as we record this. This is the first and inaugural edition of the Genesis Report. Marco, good evening. How's it going?
Good evening. Heavy night. Heavy night.
Very.
Yeah. So let's let's jump into it. First of all, guys, welcome. It's our first and special edition, what we will call the Genesis Israel Report. We will try to do it every couple days a week. Depends what's going on. Um, uh, let's talk like 2 minutes about Genesis Israel vision wise, and jump on the current event because things are rolling. So Genesis Israel, it's an access mechanism to build long-lasting and meaningful relationship between the Christian community and the Israelis. That's the deal. If you guys want some more details, go to our website and you can check it out. We'll have also some materials over there on our website, an intro and what we are, who we are, etc., etc. And that's the thing. Now we have to talk what's going on in Israel.
Mm.
So let's start from what's going on just now and go back a little bit. So in the last few minutes, the IDF launched the beginning of the ground operation in South Lebanon. It's a big deal. Stephanie can hear it from her house in the Golan Heights. It's the artillery now, and pretty quickly the forces will rush into South Lebanon, probably in a very unique and surprise way. We don't want to talk about it. Let's wait till it will happen. So let's go 40,000 mile above. October 7 happened almost a year ago. Hamas came, surprised us in the south part of Israel. Everybody knows the detail. Israel took a decision that Gaza will be the main front, north second front. On October 8th, Hezbollah started to launch missiles and started like a daily attack, small scale, all the north part. 60,000 people left their home. They are refugees in their own country. I think you guys are familiar, hopefully you guys are familiar with all these details. So Israel decided Gaza main front, we have the hostage, we have Hamas, and almost 2 weeks ago, it shifted. It shifted how? That first of all, the war cabinet took a decision as a war purpose to get back the civilians, the north, people that were evacuated back home safely. And the next day, pagers all over Lebanon started to blow up. That was the first sign of the war that we are now going into with Lebanon. Second day, if you guys remember, was the walkie-talkie that blew up, and then a series of assassination that actually came all the way to the peak of last Friday, which we killed Hassan Nasrallah, which is the Hezbollah top leader. At the same time, Israel is bombing all over Lebanon. And I don't know if you guys are monitoring the numbers, but every day in Lebanon, almost 100 people are dying and hundreds are getting injured. The majority probably Hezbollah warriors, and Israel is taking out the majority of their missiles. And let's talk 2 minutes about this operation intelligence-wise. In 2006, there was a war in Lebanon, what we call the Second Lebanon War, which wasn't a good war in many angles. One of them was the intel angle of it that wasn't good. We even tried to kill Nasrallah at that time. We didn't succeed, and we tried to kill the Hezbollah commanders without any success. So in the end of 2006, after the war, a big campaign was launched in the Israeli army with other partners. which actually said we're going to prepare ourselves to the next war, but we're going to do it this time in another way. What we are seeing in the last 2 weeks, it's the fruits of this huge campaign that is lasting for 18 years. Like 18 years of operations and operations and operations, and then came to the minute that the pagers blew up in Lebanon. And from the pagers, walkie-talkie, Israel killed literally all of Hezbollah commanders, military commanders from every section, if it's the south front, if it's the drone front, if it's the missile, if the intel, everyone. And now we're going to see the finishing leg in Lebanon, which is the ground invasion, which is happening as we speak. I don't know this. I know the scale of it and how it would look like, but we're not going to talk about it now. Let it happen, and then we can describe it to our followers. But the strategic behind it, the strategic thinking behind it, is to allow or to create the right environment that people will go back to the north safely. I don't know how much time it will take. It can be weeks, it can be days, it can be months. We have to wait. Probably, I don't think it will last too long, because pretty quickly we see the U.S. administration and probably the European jumping all over the place and let's do ceasefire. That's it. But I want to give you a heads up today about Iran and Syria in a way. Let's start with Iran. My sense, and I'm just saying my gut feeling, that Israel is not going to stop here in Lebanon. I think pretty quickly, and we are going on to a very dramatic days, we will find ourselves in any kind of a conflict with Iran, or they will respond of us killing Nasrallah and their one of their generals in the coming days, might happen, or without any connection, Israel will launch a massive strike towards Iran. I'm assuming especially against their nuclear facilities and maybe also against the regime. So what I'm trying to describe you guys, that we are in a very historic time, a very historic and dramatic time. We might find ourselves on the edge of Israel, trying to create a new order in the Middle East. Kind of enough is enough. No more proxy. One proxy was Hamas, is done. The other serious proxy is Hezbollah. It's going to be done. We have the Houthis in Yemen. They got a strike yesterday. They will probably get more. We have the Iranian militia in Iraq. Let's see what about that. But looks like Israel took a strategic decision to create a new order, which is very important. And I think Israel is showing to the world that she is a very strong country with a very strong army that knows how to do the job, not like we did in Gaza, at least on October 7th. So that's what's going on. Action items for everyone. First of all, pray for us. Pray for our soldiers that are going now into Lebanon. Not everyone will come back with their families. That's the reality. Genesis Israel will support the soldiers, will support the communities that are still left in the north and need support. And we will increase our support and activities once the war will end. We're going to go to the day after in the north, is helping the communities go back to their communities. People were left home for a year, almost a year. Probably they are very broken. It's very hard, but we will have everything on our website regarding that. That's the thing, guys. A very dramatic evening, even on historicals. We are living in historic days. Those days are crazy. It means, Stephen, that we are living here Every day something is happening, and this one is bombing and that one. You cannot get track of it. But in the end, we want to see communities go back to their homes in the north. In the end, you want to see Iran getting out of the game, and the rest.
Thank you, Marco. That's very helpful. I have a speculative question for you. So, because the operation to assassinate Nasrallah was called Operation New Order, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that there's a lot of variables. Things could probably go a number of ways, but as you like look to the horizon of the future, what would a a good new order look like? What are you hoping for right now?
A new order should start with Iran,
Hmm.
because I really think that Iran, it's the beating heart of all this problem.
Mm-hmm.
They, for years, as a strategy, built proxies around us: Hamas, Hezbollah, Iranian militias in Syria, Iraq, the Houthis, and the West Bank also.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, a new order without striking, even not eliminating the Iranian regime, it's not a victory. So, no matter what we do in Lebanon and Syria and Gaza,
Right.
if we are not going to deal with Iran, and I think we have a strategic opportunity to do it. We are in a strategic window here
Mm-hmm.
because the elections in the US are around the corner, because half of the American army is here in the Middle East,
Mm-hmm.
because the Israeli population is ready to even pay the price of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time. The Israeli army is, boots on the ground. Everybody is ready. If we're not going to do it now, we lost a strategic opportunity that I really cannot see when it can happen again.
Mm-hmm. And I think it would cost not only Israel, but I think the world quite a bit because, um, I've said in a past conversation that we've had, I think in the same way that the world can rightfully and should rightfully thank the Kurds for stopping ISIS, though it did take a coalition and a number of work, the Kurds are still the bulwark in their region. I think that we'll look back and thank the Israelis, and it grieves me now that we're not. I don't think you guys are getting the support that you need, which is why I love Genesis, because it's a non-military avenue for people to meaningfully support and stand with Israel in days like these. We quote Proverbs 17:17 a lot amongst ourselves, that a brother loves it all, or sorry, a friend loves at all times, but a brother is born for trouble. And these are days of trouble to just lock in. But I have two questions for you. The first is, would it be fair to say or unfair to say that Iran, having built this, just in surrounding Israel with these proxies?
Sorry.
No, 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 it's okay. Marco's been getting over a cold. Um, like, if you pull all the proxies away, do you find that Iran itself is like the big bad, like he's like the Wizard of Oz? You pull back the curtain and find out nothing's really there, or is this a fair and warranted, like all of the proxies are the guard dogs, and then you have the big bad wolf behind them?
Yeah, the second option, the big bad wolf behind him. Once we take out Iran,
Mm-hmm.
all the proxies are vanished. We are taking out. Actually, what happened here, it's the opposite. Because there was some people thought that you should take Iran out, and that will affect Hezbollah and Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
But we did the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
We
Why was that?
eliminate the proxies. We eliminate the proxies like Hamas and now Hezbollah, military-wise. But in order not to allow them to go back to what they were, we have to eliminate the wolf, which is Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Who
So
do you think is
in
the
any case,
superior in might? Like, is Hezbollah the big established fighting force that's providing cover for Iran? Or once you get through Hezbollah, which is no small feat, then behind it, do you have your gnarliest fist fight?
I don't know. Hezbollah, it's a very serious power.
Yeah.
It's the strongest proxy of Iran. Iran is far away from Israel. It's 2,000 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you don't have a border with them. So once we get out Hezbollah or hurt them very badly, if we didn't get done with Iran, they will recover Hezbollah. So we will find ourselves in the same situation in a couple of weeks, so we didn't do nothing. So we start strong and we get stronger.
So here's my second question. It's a new day. No matter what, it's a new day. We will look back and see the assassination of Nasrallah, in that kind of week and a half window of the pagers, the airstrikes, taking out their stashes of rockets and missiles, the assassination of Nasrallah. No matter what, things are different moving forward. So ideally, the Lebanese people just got Lebanon back, and they have an opportunity now to establish a government that will not allow them to be hijacked by a terrorist organization again. Ideally, we free the Iranian people from the Iranian regime and give Iran back to the Iranians. That's ideally, and I think the stakes are so high, we really don't have other options. But God forbid, knock on wood, just speculating, anytime there's a power vacuum, there's going to be some kind of bad actor that wants to fill the gap. So what are things that you're watching and are wary of as things move forward?
I don't think that Lebanon will be Dubai because it's very complicated in Lebanon. They have like 50% of them are Shia, and you have Christians, and you have Sunnis, and you have Jews. It will not happen. I'm assuming that Israel should be on guard with them all the time. It's not like tomorrow if you take out all Hezbollah, so Lebanon will be Swiss. It will not happen.
Right.
Regarding Iran, the minimum is taking out their nuclear capabilities. The maximum is striking the regime so bad that maybe the Iranian population will, start a revolution. I wouldn't count on it. I don't know what will happen. It might happen, might not. But let's start with the minimum, which is taking out their nuclear capabilities and taking a very high price from them for what they do in order to convince them in a way, no, don't try to do it again, but you never know.
How do you see Syria playing into this? It's had its own civil war and issues going on for a decade and a half now, and a number of proxy groups, terrorists. It's like the beef stew of problems in the Middle East are all in Syria. Do you see that being a variable or not?
Syria, it's a problem. Syria, we have to deal with them also. It's because Syria is a country that allows Iran to supply Hezbollah weapon and. So in a certain point, we have to deal with Syria again, or militarily or politically wise, like diplomatically wise. I don't know, but we have to deal with it. Also, Bashar al-Assad now is sitting on the fence, looking what's going on. I'm assuming that Israel will have to do a series of action that will make Bashar recalculate his strategy with Iran and Hezbollah. Let's see. As you understand, there is a lot of work to do.
Can you take a minute and describe to people what Assad's relationship to Iran and Hezbollah has been over the last decade?
When the civil war started in Syria in 2011, after a year and a bit, even two, he was almost losing the war with his rebels. So they almost won him. Who actually saved him? It's Hezbollah. Okay, he flew to Iran, asked for their help, and Iran sent Hezbollah into the fight. Hezbollah fought for years in Syria, lost thousands of people, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw, but after we killed Nasrallah, the Syrians, like in Idlib, in the Aleppo, all this area were much more happier than the Israelis.
Yeah.
Why? Because they remember what Hezbollah did to them. So in a way, Bashar al-Assad owes a lot to Hezbollah in Iran, and he's paying it by supplying them weapon, by allowing Iran to supply them weapon, etc., etc. We should use what's going on now to make him rethought his, strategy with them.
Why would he have gone to Iran for help?
Because the Bashar al-Assad represent the Alawis. Alawis are kind of Shia. Okay, they're much more closer to the Shia, so it's like a Shia thing. It's a religious thing.
So Iran could back up Assad and build a land bridge from Iran proper all the way to the Mediterranean Sea without having any kind of...
And Iran used it, and Iran, Qasem Soleimani, he used it to his own purpose also to have a proxy against Israel from Syria. And supply his major proxy.
Well, I have to say, I've been just even this year kind of looking around at the borders thinking, how in the world did it get this bad? And why were these groups allowed to foment and dig in and build all of this infrastructure? And maybe on one hand, it kept them all busy, but I've just been thinking, in the U.S., we have a proverb from Abraham Lincoln, and he said, if I've got 5 hours to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. And it seems like you've had 18, 20 years sharpening your axe. So,
yeah, that's what's going on. Any case, pray for us. Dramatic days, Lebanon, Iran. Let's see what's going on. We'll keep you updated, guys. We love you all. First, Genesis Israel, Instagram, TikTok,
so we'll have
Twitter.
the website and the social media accounts here underneath the video. I do want to be very clear. Genesis Israel is Marco's initiative, and we are it's the privilege of my life to be part of this in its early days and get it going. But it is distinct from FAI. We're just introducing it also through the FAI channels. So thank you, Marco.
Yeah.
May this be
Stephanie.
a swift and successful.
Stay safe.
Yes, sir.